Good evening, everyone. We'll begin the evening service of the Miroku Association headquarters, expressing our gratitude to God and Meishu-sama for the permission and protection granted to us while participating today in God's divine plan of constructing a paradise on this earth. Amatsu-Norito and Miroku Prayer, please stand.
Maharani kamsumarimasu. Kamuroki kamuromi no mikoto mochite. Sumemi oya kamu izanagi no mikoto. Tsukushi no himuka no dachi hana no. Odo no ahagi harani misogi arai tamo utoki ni narimaseru. Arai dono o kami tachi moro moro no maragoto sumi kegare o. Arai tamae kiyome tamae toma osu koto no yoshi o. Amatsu kami kunitsu kami ya o yorosu no kami tachi tomo ni no fuchi koma no mimi furita tete hikoshi meseto kashikomi kashikomi maosu. Miroku o mikami mamori tamae saki ae tamae. Miroku o mikami mamori tamae saki ae tamae. Oshie miyoya nushi no kami mamori tamae saki ae tamae. Oshie miyoya nushi no kami mamori tamae saki ae tamae. Kom nagara tamachi haemase. Kom nagara tamachi haemase. Great God of light, creator and giver of all life, in accordance with your divine will, the long age of night draws to an end. Your radiant divine light, shining ever more brilliantly, awakens the dawn of the glorious age of light, a time long awaited by all humanity. We thank you for guiding us to your divine plan and for the privilege of channeling and receiving Johrei. May our spirits and bodies be illuminated and purified as we live your truth given to us by Meishu-sama. Make us pure and effective instruments of your divine light, so that we may serve you and all those with whom we come in contact. May paradise on earth be realized, with health, peace, and prosperity, a reality in our lives. Great God of light, bless and protect us. Radiate our souls with your divine light, so that we may truly become instruments of your great plan.
Please be seated. We will now receive group Johrei.
Hear the Meishu-sama blessing.
Johrei is now concluded. Let us listen to a reading from Meishu-sama's teaching entitled The Right Choice. Today, Adele will read the teaching for us.
The right choice. Let us be aware that it is the individual who always censors others for their seemingly wrong deeds, who is ultimately corrected by God. Let us not attempt to have others call us great. Let us simply pray that we be appreciated by others for what we are. Those who love and appreciate flowers, their grace and beauty, have hearts equally as beautiful. I would like to encourage people to cultivate flowers and place them everywhere. This would be the best means of promoting the love of beauty. Place arrangements in every place possible, so whenever people go, they will see flowers and enjoy them. Just a single flower in a vase would create a refreshing atmosphere wherever it is placed. It would be ideal if we could see flowers in every jail and in every pit and each prison cell. This would have an increasingly good effect on the inmates' mental well-being. If there are flowers wherever there are people, the negativity of today's world will be considerably alleviated. Dark forces dislike flowers and are afraid of coming where there are flower arrangements. So it is very good to place flowers in your room. Flowers have an uplifting effect in the spiritual realm. In my house, I make flower arrangements and place them in almost all the rooms.
Thank you, Adele. And now we're going to have readings from Reverend Marco Negrão.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining this evening service of the Miroku Association headquarters. Before we are able to truly enjoy beauty in a high level, sometimes we have to take care of the basics. In this regard, I would like to share this faith experience. This time is from Angola, Africa. My name is Maria Helena Visapa. I came into contact with the Johrei movement of Angola in February 2006 through Janeth Zakeu, a member of our church. The reasons that brought me to our church were illness, poverty, and marital conflicts. After some time of giving Johrei, conflicts and illness improved significantly, and as a way to express my gratitude, I became a member on May 13 of the same year. The fifth experience I would like to share with you is related to the practice of doing thorough cleanups around me. I recently moved to a new neighborhood where there was a garbage dump near my house. As our church activities were reduced due to the pandemic, I decided to eliminate that garbage. I prayed and started cleaning. My neighbors, seeing that situation, started to laugh at me and said, "If you get the coronavirus, you will have problems with us." After listening to what they said, I replied, "I'm cleaning so that we don't get sick." I continued with this practice for months until I ended that pile of garbage. One day, seeing my persistence, my neighbors started to change their minds and thank me for my initiative. After that, they started helping me until the street was completely clean. One morning when I left my home, my astonishment was to see that the same neighbors who criticized me made a sign saying, "Forbidden to throw garbage in here, fine of 5,000 kwanzas." I was very happy with the result achieved because, in fact, the street took on a totally new look. The neighbors awakened to the practice of cleaning the neighborhood, and I could understand that giving service is to be done wherever we are. My commitments to participate in the construction of paradise on earth, taking the three pillars of salvation to as many people as possible. I thank God, Meishu-sama, my ancestors, and everyone who has contributed to my spiritual growth. To the ministers, members, and everyone who heard my faith experience, my sincere gratitude. So this faith experience from Angola, and also I'd like to share another one from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, from Monica Longo. This was shared on June 14th, 2020, when Reverend Romilson turned 55 years old. When that happened, he realized that he could get some discounts in restaurants as a senior citizen. Not all restaurants, unfortunately, but that was the benefit of turning 55. Anyway, I first came into contact with our church in August 2015 through a home gathering at a friend's house. At that meeting, I received the Johrei and became acquainted with the practice of home gardening and appreciation of art and beauty. During that time, I was unemployed and undergoing a major financial purification. In addition, I was in conflict with my husband and suffered from severe migraines, which forced me to use many medicines. I started to attend the Johrei Center assiduously and began to gain strength and conviction in the light of Johrei. I did the practice of regularly decorating my home with flowers, introduced food produced by the method of nature farming to my family, and made donations of gratitude. With this practice of faith, I noticed a change in my life. The ideas cleared up in my mind, and I decided to start working as an Uber driver. I applied Meishu-sama's teachings in my daily life, such as kindness, courtesy, sincerity, and above all, punctuality. With that, I acquired the trust of my passengers' customers, who began giving me their exclusive preference. I continued receiving Johrei and doing other practices of faith. In about 2.5 years, I bought a bigger car and opened a small tour business. This business flourished, and I could manage to pay off my credit card debts and did a small construction remodeling in my home. I received the sacred focal point of Hikari in April 2018 and started to dedicate the Johrei Center. I distributed the mini bundles, the small flower arrangements, spread Johrei, and I was allowed to introduce more than 100 people to Meishu-sama. The conflicts in my marriage decreased a lot because I started to do self-reflection before entering a discussion and to adopt a more flexible posture instead of being confrontational like before. With this, my home is much more harmonious now. And my husband, who called himself a die-hard atheist, started to receive Johrei with me regularly. The migraines, which tormented me for so long, disappeared, and I got rid of the painkillers completely. With my commitment to serve the divine work, my change of posture, and the sincere offerings of gratitude donations, I was allowed to change my spiritual condition and consequently transform my own fate, acquiring peace, health, and prosperity. I thank God and Meishu-sama for their permission that I found a way to salvation through a spiritual practice and acts of altruism, as well as to my friend who opened the door to my happiness by offering me Johrei for the first time. Thank you very much. So, an experience of applying what Meishu-sama taught us in this teaching today, the right choice of spreading flowers everywhere. So once we place flowers in our home, the vibration will gradually change as we believe. And another experience, this one is from New York. This member works in the transportation department of the city, installing signs, traffic signs. I should confess, I never understood those signs. They are confusing to me, and members also would ask, Minister, I just parked my car, but I'm not so sure whether I will get a ticket or not. The parking sign says this, say that. So I'm sorry, cannot help, but I have a member who may help us. So I asked this member, and he said, I'm sorry, although I've been working in this city for all these years, installing traffics, I don't understand that either. I myself got 2 parking tickets. Oh, thanks for the help. Anyway, but this experience is not regarding parking tickets or traffic signs. He uses his job, a truck for his job. He has always a partner to do this maintenance. They are always switching, so he will have a new buddy with him. He became a member, even had the permission to go to the sacred grounds. I was in the group when we went together to Japan. And perhaps inspired by what he saw in Japan. If you have been to Japan and you take a taxi cab, many of them, they have a small flower attached to the dashboard. It's very cute and it's very warming for the passengers. Maybe, I don't know if you want that inspiration, but he was saying that at the Johrei Center, we were constantly making the flowers of light. We were talking the service, encouraging people to take them, to share with friends, share with neighbors. So he had this idea to place a little flower of light on the top of his locker in the workshop of the garage, truck garage over there. And the others began making fun of him. El Mucho Macho and his cute flower. You know, where all these tough guys, but he didn't pay attention to that, fortunately. He continued putting, every week he would put the little flower of light, and then he thought I could attach a mini flower to the dashboard of my truck, so that would offer protection during my driving. And so he did, using Velcro. He attached the flower to the dashboard of the truck, and he almost immediately felt the result. Before, he used to have an aggressive style of driving, but after having the flowers, if somebody would cross in front of him, he would say, oh, very calmly, okay, go ahead, you may be more in a hurry than I am. And before, probably he would curse and make some hand signals, if you know what I mean. But then he was no longer doing that. So that was a big change in him through the flowers. So that's also a nice story of how flowers transform our lives. I want to thank you very much for this opportunity of sharing these words. I want to encourage you to keep giving, receiving Johrei, reading Meishu-sama's teachings, and I looking forward to seeing you at the next daily services. Thank you very much.
This brings our evening service to a conclusion. Thank you everyone for joining us and have a blessed evening.
Thank you.
Thank you everyone for
Thank
joining
you.
us.
Thank you.
Thank you for the reading, Adeli.
Thank you, dear. Thank you, dear. Dear. Dear.
Bye.
Sayonara. Muchas gracias.